Well, let's put my big mouth to the test, shall we?
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. If this is your first time here, I'm the big fella Scruff, and what I'm trying to do is put trading in the real world. Maybe show you a trick or two along the way. So if that sounds good and you do find value in what I do hit the subscribe button. Genuinely helps and motivates me to do more. And also share it with your friends, and we'll see if we can get this little community to grow. And if you want to be part of the community, do come along to the Discord. I'm going to show you in just a second. It's changed slightly because we did have an open door policy on it when I shut down the Telegram. However, that is now closed. It's going to be members only, simply because, well, let's just say a few rotten eggs have spoiled it. So where does that lead us into? Well, if I flick this over, and you'll see a chart here, and I pull up the Discord, having a bit of a rant and rave this morning, I actually put into this ideas of the week. And the ideas of the week are the Aussie JPY. Now, if you see this was at 8:10 this morning. And it was running off the back of the news announcement that I did here, which is at 8:10. Now, what they are is, I do this every single day for the guys in the squad. Now, it's kind of on a reward basis. If I see interest in it, it goes public. And if there's no interest from the public, it gets made for the squad every day, as you can see. I tell them what the economic news is, and I go through what's called the Scruffy bias, which is here. You know, Scruffy bias, if I open this up. This is for these guys to use all the time. They can see the strongest and the weakest. They know exactly what I'm doing, and they can follow the sheet if they so wish. If they don't want to, it's not a problem. They can just quickly flick back into sort of hours or ideas of the week rather, which is the video series, or at least it will be when I switch it back over, which is here, and I'll read the chart for them. Now, we also do sort of market calls, and a market call is this, and it's where we have a Zoom meeting every day. Now, sometimes I read charts, sometimes we talk about emotions. Last night, we were talking risk profiles. I showed them how to do a risk profile properly. And then this morning, actually broke down corn for haircut. Bloody corn. But I also said I was going to trade this. And I called it to the pip, which is here. And if I flick that on, there's the trade. All right, so I've already done it. And if you were following that news announcement, you'd have seen it. Now, in the Discord, it's like everything else. You know, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're asking questions, you get the questions answered. If you just lurk in the background, well, you're not going to get anything because you haven't asked. Shy Bairn's getting out. So what's going on with this? Well, I'm going to trade it again. Because I think the setups are reasonably still valid. Now, how am I going to trade it? Well, that's the question, isn't it? Because it's at the upper section of the quadrant. So I've got to be a little bit mindful of that. But what it's also presenting is a good opportunity if I drop this back out. So, oops, sorry. Just flick this over. Back to an hour. Flick this out over to an hour. So what's the opportunity? Well, it looks like the signs to break out. Now, this is on the hourly. So we had the huge drive up, little bit of pushback, and then I'm expecting it to run back up again. So how can we figure this out? Well, there's a number of ways we can do it. You can see I've got a line up here. Now, if we pull this out to the 4 hour, we can start understanding where that line comes from. Look at that drop. This is running up. It's had a go at it, It's dropped down, failed. It's now running at these levels again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to trade this back into range, hopefully down either the top of here, this line what I've put in here. But basically I want to trade down to move up, and I'm like to see it burst through here. Now, how far is that? Well, we've got about 10 pips at this moment up to there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pre-ordering in and around this area down here. Now, the way to do it is very simple. You can measure it out. I mean, what we're actually looking at is a golden eye situation. Now, the guys in the squad know exactly what that is. Now, as we can see here, there's your move. There's your 50%. So I'm going to start buying on the 38, the 50 and the 61. So I want the price to come down, pick the order and bounce. That's the general gist. In other words, I'm making the price come to me. So if I do that, and then I just drop that out to the top of there. Okay. Now that's one setup, but I want to rack and stack, or at least set and forget. So I'm going to put that up to there. Now I've already got halfway of my salary. Don't really need much more. Now this is a simple way of doing it, and I'm using breakpoints to find a trade, which is there, there and there. Okay. Now if it runs away from me and doesn't trigger, well, I'm not really worried. It's just one of the trades that got away from me because I've already been paid. However, there is a high probability this will come back down into this green section. Green means go, pick the orders up and away. The deeper it gets in, the better. So I'm not really worried if I trigger all three of these, and I'm going to target back to where it came from. That'll give me enough money for the day trade, because the other side of it is, if it does run all the way up here, brilliant. So I'll target into here, and what I'll probably do is I'll just put that as an initial target there. So I've got a decent runner alongside what's going on. All right, let's play this out. Come back to you shortly. Okay guys, job's done. So I traded this morning on the initial surge. I had an inkling the market will push back up, so decided that I'll let it relax in and around this area. Prepared to come down to here. Why? The key areas have bounced. And then just trade it back up. So the execution was correct. The analysis was correct. And this could still break up and push through this, but it's a day trade. I want to get in, get out, and calculate what's going on. That's exactly what I've done. So there's nothing left. There's no tickets. And then there you go. You know, nice, easy execution. Looking for about 200 quid. Well, we've easily achieved that. And we could have had a bit more if we wanted, but why be greedy? Take what the market's willing to offer and be happy. And that's all I do every day. Every day, I analyze the market. I look for the best opportunity. From there, I look to see what the best direction is. Look for points of bounce and then just trade what I see, basically. There is a lot of political movement going around at the moment. There's a lot of news around at the moment, so you've got to be well aware of that. But ultimately, the market will always just move from a point to a point. And if you're prepared to just take what's on offer, then you'll be fine. But if you start going down the route of, oh, I've got to do 1 to 3 or 1 to 5, well, what are you doing? Are you reading the market or are you playing a numbers game? See, personally, I think you'd be playing a numbers game because they're the people that turn around and say, well, I only need to win 3 out of 10. Well, then you're not really reading the markets, are you? Because if you're only getting it right 3 times out of 10, well, again, it's a gamble. It's a numbers game. You should be able to read the market and take what it's willing to give. But if you're just sort of going, I'll have 1 in 3 and I only need to win 4 times out of 10, what's the point of analysing any chart? You might as well just rock up on a morning, flick a coin saying, right, I'm buying it. That's my risk, that's my target, and get on with it. Because essentially that's what you're doing. Or you can learn the craft, put the work in, understand it's a job, and then be paid as a job. How's that? Oh, sorry, that's a bit too much like hard work, isn't it? Because apparently this is easy. You know, you just follow my system and I'll show you how to make $1 gazillion, you know, while I have a little bit of a run. Or the latest one is, every one of my mechanical system students has passed FTMO. Every single one of them. Only once client, was it? Because trust me, you do a sample of data over a long period of time and you have 100% strike rate, I'd be questioning whether that's correct. You know, I certainly would. And it raises another question, actually talking of that. I get on my high horse from time to time because sometimes the adverts come on. I mean, the bronze medallion runner, I can go with. I genuinely can. And yes, his lifestyle is a bit lavish. And I think we know who we're talking about because he has his second home in Scotland. But he knows his stuff. He's been around forever. He does know his stuff. So I'll kind of give him that. But a lot of the others, not a chance. It's just bollocks, you know, to say it's 100% strike rate. But the one that winds me up the most at the moment, and I'm old, so they all wind me up. But the one that really winds me up at the moment is where they say, we will pass your challenge for you. And if we don't pass it, it's 100% money back. Why are you paying somebody to pass your challenge for you? You're still going to lose if you don't know what you're doing. All you'll do is you'll be giving your account and within a week it's bust. So not only have you paid for the prop fund when you don't know what you're doing, which is becking stupid in the first place, you've paid some moron to pass it for you. And that's assuming that they can pass it. But I'm pretty certain they'll take your money first. and then you're going to blow your account. Bit curious, that one, isn't it? Because if it's a money back guarantee, why don't they just get paid on result? Well, you give us the account, we pass it, you pay us. And if not, we take over your account. No, they won't do that, but they'll take your money. It's odd, that one, isn't it? Anyway, I'll switch that up. That's that. Little bit of a grumble, because I love a grumble, but I better answer the phone. No shock what's on my ringtone. But as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.